So here's what happens. You are born. Then in your teens and 20s you explore a bit. In your 30s and 40s you hopefully settle into a cozy routine. In your 50s and 60s you try to squeeze the last drops of joy out of life, and after that you wait for the sweet embrace of the Reaper. Average global life expectancy is 72.6 years. Here's my question. Who wants to live forever? Who wants to live? I read an amazing book called Lifespans, Why We Age and Why We Don't Have to by David Sinclair. And I want to discuss the idea of living forever, of actually becoming an immortal through science. Because the book clearly states that aging is a disease and we will eventually find cure to this disease. And in the end of this exciting overview, I will give you simple tips to expand your life with simple tricks. So please don't run away, and don't you want to stay this young, sexy, smart you as long as you can? If you do, hit that like button and let's dig in. I wasn't a good student in school. To tell you the honest, most of my grades were below average. I was more interested in video games and fantasy. And so, like other subjects, biology was quite boring to me. Now this book is not pseudoscience book, like believe in immortality and then you will achieve it book. It's a hard science book that takes its information from universities and labs around the world, and thousands of scientists are working tirelessly on one thing: giving your body immortality. A body that does not age or have illnesses like cancer or dementia or Alzheimer's or osteoporosis or osteoarthritis or loss of vision and hearing or other nasty things that plagues older generations. How are they gonna do that? Well, as I said, my knowledge of biology is pretty rubbish. And frankly, I gotta admit that all that fancy sciencey talk in the book I did not understand. But don't let that scare you off though. The author does a fantastic job of explaining to us dum-dums the core concepts. And I understood the core concepts. And the core concept is this. Everything is information, and the information can be transferred in two ways: digital signal or analog signal. Digital signals are clear, easily copied without errors. Analog signals degrade over time and can be distorted by noise. That's why we humans decided to live in the digital age, where our computers talk a binary language of ones and zeros. A great example of analog signals is radio waves. If it's a clear signal, then you have an amazing crystal clear sound. If the signal or frequency is muddied by other interrupting signals, then the sound is not very nice. Our DNA is a digital signal, and instead of speaking binary language of ones and zeros, it speaks quaternary language of A, T, C or G. It holds the keys to life, and it has unlimited potential. But what tells our skin to be certain color and our legs to be long and beautiful? Sorry. Is our genes, which is just a segment of our DNA. Yes, one segment is responsible for those beautiful blue eyes, and one segment is responsible for those hairy knuckles. Oh well. But which gene is turned on or off is largely determined by epigenetics. Epigenetics meaning that something is above the gene, something that is affecting our genes, turning those DNA digital signals on and off. And epigenetic information or signal is analog. And as you know, analog signals can be distorted. Make sense? My dummy biology talk? Okay, a final quick example. Here is a DVD, or is it a CD? The information on this disc is digital, like our DNA. Now, if I scratch it, I introduce analog noise, which then corrupts the original information and the disc is not easily readable anymore. Make sense? So the question is, what disrupts our DNA signals. The biggest factor is time. Our epigenome is quite different now than it were when we were kids. So aging equals loss of information or muddying the information. But there are other factors: your lifestyle, the foods you eat, how active you are, what chemicals and radiations you're exposed to, even your stress levels. All of this influences the analog signal that turns your DNA segments on and off. If there is something wrong with your body that was not there before, maybe you have a weird skin situation or your hairs are turning gray, then that's because your cells have lost their identity. They don't have this clear information anymore of what they should do or how they should act. But think about it, you can literally alter your genes by which food you eat or how much you exercise and yeah, how you're thinking, your thoughts throughout the day. So the idea is this: if the world around us can make us sick and die, then we can find something that makes us healthy and not die. And yeah, in the end it's that simple. Science needs 3 things to unlock immortality. First is the blueprint of pure DNA signals that produces healthy cells, like this DVD. It has the original information on it. Although it's scratched, the information is still there underneath. We just need to clean it and get that information. Amazing. Second, we need a pill or a machine which can copy the original pure, healthy, vibrant you signal. And finally, science needs to find a pill or a machine that can take that signal and put it on top of your unhealthy, dying, out of sync signals or genes. And the amazing thing is that the science already has the third thing. We can precisely cut and edit our DNA with a CRISPR technology or make stem cells from skin cells with Yamanaka factors. Now, I will not touch these subjects as I am a big dum-dum in biology and they're a huge another bag of whoop-de-doo whatever. But I hope you understand that a lot of smart people have accelerated research so much on prolonging our years, maybe unlimited amounts. But I do want to discuss the topic of living forever and the implications of it. First, would you like to live forever? Do you know that there are people who say that they don't? They say that 70 years is enough for them. They say that they don't want to be burdened for their kids. They don't want to live the last years of their lives in pain and bedridden and wearing diapers again. I get it. I get the diaper situation, okay? I get the diaper situation. And then some say, imagine living with my wife for another 100 years. Well, I love my wife and another 100 years with her would be heaven. So I ask you again, if you could be young and active and not a burden but actually a productive, positive force on the society, would you not live as long as you choose? I think you would. I would. I have dreamed so many times of living up to 1,000 years and seeing people colonize other planets. I would like to see my grandchildren and great-grandchildren and their children, and I would like to talk to them and be their friend. I would like to get smarter and learn more about this universe and this life and maybe, you know, maybe discover magic. Let's be honest, I just want to play all the video games, read all the books, watch all the movies, right? And maybe choose my own place and time and way of death. Like, I loved seeing Kung Fu Panda and this wise old turtle just turning one with the pedals and vibrating into a different frequency of existence. Right? There are a few problems. Very smart people come together often and talk. They talk about what are we gonna do when, not if, but when life expectancy happens and there will be overcrowding, what are we going to do about it? It is inevitable. Science is inevitable. You cannot stop science, and the author expresses that clearly by saying that, yeah, we can wipe ourselves out with great wars or doomsday earthquakes or comets, but the real evil little thing is actually very, very tiny. It's the viruses, the pandemics. And I think we were hella lucky that coronavirus wasn't bubonic plague version 2.0. Imagine losing all these hundreds of years of scientific research just because a person wanted to eat a dog or a bat or whatever reason. It's conspiracy theories. But there will be a problem like overpopulation. What happens if people don't die anymore? If people don't get sick anymore? The horror, right? What happens why are you people eating my food? Why are you taking my parking space? And your local parks full of pesky people? I don't know, man. I sometimes turn to the stars and I see lots and lots of limitless space and unlimited opportunities, and there is a planet for everybody. And besides, we're gonna have to figure out these global problems one way or the other. And there are other problems as well. Imagine a corrupt politician staying in power for over 100 years with their old world views, ruling a country. Now, that's a tragedy for that country. And the rich getting more richer and accumulating wealth over centuries and accumulating power as well, and then using all that power for evil. I mean, and what about all them drug companies who rely on people getting sick and buying all their drugs, huh? What about them? Well, of course I speak out of fear and pessimism, and that's not the way forward. What do you think happens not if, but when we achieve immortality? Is it good for the humanity, or should humans have an expiry date? What would you do if you could live forever? Love? Hate? Comment down below. I believe it is extremely good. We humans are very clever life forms, and solving problems is our game. Imagine living for 200 years and accumulating all this wisdom and experience, what we could accomplish. Imagine meeting these people who we read about in books. They could be still alive, like Da Vinci or Einstein or Newton or Tesla. If they could still be healthy and vibrant and active and working on their problems, what would the world look like today? Magic. Okay, I'll close with some practical tips as I promised. Imagine dying today and tomorrow they will find the vaccine for aging. So if you want to live long enough to get on board with the immortality train, then here's what the author recommends. First, eat less. Intermittent fasting is very good for you. It turns on the survival mode, which increases the lifespan. Second, exercise more, especially high intensity interval training. Third, cold exposure. Take cold showers or walk in the cold, or hot exposure. Go to the saunas more often. Get out of that thermal zone that your body is comfortable living in. It's all about affecting our epigenetic forms with strong forces and strong energy. He does not advise us to take any supplements because he's a researcher and not a medical doctor, but he takes himself and his father uses this thing called NMNs, and I looked into it. It's super interesting and I want to maybe try it out on myself and then do another video about it, but I'll leave the information down in the description below. I thought it was interesting, but I'm not gonna talk more about it. Guys, this is a fantastic book. If you want to stay on this fantastic earth a little bit longer and a little bit healthier, I highly recommend it. 10 out of 10, especially on Audible where the author personally reads it. I hope you learned something. I certainly did. Like, comment and subscribe, and guys, Curious Cookies, I'll see you next week.